Cool. Hi, thanks for that, Gary. The observant of you will have noticed our new a new draft Institute of Cornish Studies policy briefing about political decentralisation more generally, but hopefully there'll be a bunch of ideas that would be really useful for us here in Cornwall. It is a draft, which means that we really welcome feedback. So please feel free to feedback, and we know other things like the headings need to be in Cornish as well and stuff like that. That will be coming. Some of the key takeaways from this. So the policy brief is based on 6 months ethnographic research in the United States. And I don't know how many people here are very familiar with local government in the US, but it is hugely decentralized. So for example, I know municipalities of like 17,000 people. So this is town the size of Bodmin, who provide not only the police department and the fire department and the utilities, and they look after the roads and the parks and recreation, but they also run their own schools and run their own court system. Like loads of stuff that happens literally at a municipal level. And one of the things that is really fascinating about observing American politics, and this is, or American local politics, I should say, and this is one of the first key takeaway in the policy brief, is about how having those institutions delivered and funded locally provides a huge amount of kind of sense of community buy-in, a sense that that we're all in this to try to develop our town, and we're all trying to help to support our town in a way that we have kind of echoes of in the UK, but I certainly don't see it to the same kind of level. So I found that really interesting. So decentralized institutions as a way of mobilizing people around a territorial unit. Second thing, fiscal decentralization is absolutely crucial. Being able to raise money locally through local taxation. So in the US, for example, so you'll be talking to people about how in the UK we don't have sales tax and like lodging taxes or like, taxes on hotel rooms and stuff like that. And they'll be like, what? Seriously? How do you pay for local services? It's like, good question. But being able to raise money locally, whether we're talking about like tourist taxes or various different elements on that, taxes on accommodation, taxes on things, being able to raise a bit of money on things that things that are bought locally, but also being able to raise money through taxation on things that are bought online locally too. So I might go onto our nasty global online retailer of choice and make my purchase here in Bodmin, but I would still have to pay a local sales tax on purchases locally, which might go some way to helping our struggling town centres. But fiscal decentralisation was really, really important. I can see Dick looking at his watch, so it's okay. I'm just... The third thing was about encouraging our local governments to be able to act in an entrepreneurial kind of way. So an example here is of a council community of about less than 10,000 people, nearly 10,000 people, and they put 1 penny on local sales tax. In the course of a year, they were able to raise a fifth of the money that was required for a sports and recreation centre that they then ran as a municipality, or that they built and ran as a municipality as a revenue generator. This is a local community building and creating something that they then are using to generate more money for the town, and so reduce burdens on services and support local services and things like that. So encouraging local entrepreneurialism, like local government entrepreneurialism, is really important. And this is kind of the fourth thing is directly related to Cornwall and what we're thinking about. So we've been talking a lot today about a parliament for Cornwall, but we also want to be talking about how our towns and our parishes are able to also work within the parliamentary framework, but also do their own stuff too, and come together and collaborate around sort of shared problems as well. So decentralisation shouldn't just be about decentralisation to a Cornish Parliament, but it should also be thinking about how towns and parishes are able to do the things that they need to, or able to be enabled within that process as well. And finally, this speaks directly to the whole elected mayor thing. In the US, you say to people, including like leading local government academics, that the UK is trying to get more elected mayors, and they're like, really? Because like elected mayors are kind of a thing of the past. You know, that's not something that a lot of municipalities, particularly, and also county councils, are going for. Instead, they're going for something called a manager system, where basically, imagine your town clerk, but having a chief executive officer kind of role, so a very public-facing kind of role. So they're directly accountable to the public, but also accountable to elected representatives as well. But it's just stuff to think about. Anyway, it's in the report. Final thing, and this has got nothing to do with the report, of which we would really love your feedback, but final thing is after this meeting, many of you are already involved, some of you are not, but we have an MK Women's network, and women who'd like to be involved. We're just going to have a really quick meeting towards the end of this session, also thinking about what we need as women in MK in order to support us to be able to be even stronger members of MK politically. Nice one.